All right, welcome back. Let's talk Samsung Galaxy S23, Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus, and Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. It's actually pretty easy to talk about them because they are pretty similar to the S22s. This actually reminds me of, I'm trying to remember which iPhone review it was, where it's such a small update. It might have been the 13 or the 12, but it's an update in the couple of things that are most important on a phone, which is it has better cameras, it has a better chip, and it has better batteries. That's a good set of small things. If you're going to do a small update, good things to do, right? So S23 and S23 Plus are the same sizes of the small, flat 1080p displays, 6.1 and 6.6 inches. Phantom black, cream, green, and lavender. I do not like these colors.
I like the green.
Just going to be honest here. I don't think they're very good.
I like the green.
It's kind of a military green. That's the one. Cream and lavender are just so like safe.
Yeah, I don't know about the pastels.
It's been a thing for like 4 or 5 years where they just go pastels and they go, you can get neutral or near neutral. How do you feel about those colors?
Or black.
Like, all right, fine, I'll take black.
It's like a neutral black too. It's like a gray. It's like a dark gray.
It is what it is. But they all have new camera sensors across the board. So a 50 megapixel main sensor. I took a bunch of sample photos on these that when I was doing my impressions video and just sort of like clicking around, seeing how it felt. And they did look really good. And this is like a super subjective 2-hour experience that we had, but they're claiming 4 times more dynamic range and improved processing. So I want to see how those look when we get them out in the real world. Larger batteries on both, 3900 and 4700. Those are both 200 milliamp hours bigger than last year. So when you combine that with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which appears to be much more efficient, I feel like that's a solid, small couple things to upgrade on a phone.
Meaningful,
super safe. Yeah. Fine. S23 Ultra has sort of along the same lines, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, a big, bright 1440p display. A couple things that they did with this phone are it has these really flat sides now that I love. It's a subtle thing, but it's the shape of the phone when you hold it in your hand. It's much more square and boxy like the Note used to be. I like that a lot. And the camera sensor upgrades are also all here. It's a 200 megapixel main sensor. So it's going to be some serious binning, 16 pixels into one to get a 12.5 megapixel shot. Still a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, still an S Pen in the side, still 120 hertz, still 6.8 inches, still up to a terabyte. New selfie cameras on all these phones, and they look about the same. Same colors.
It looks about the same.
Looks
about the same.
So the price tags are also looking about the same. $799, $999, $1199. Do you need to upgrade if you have an S21 or S22? I don't think so. S21 Ultra, I would still be happy using that phone today. If you have an older phone or a different phone, this is probably the move. Now, they did this thing also, we just finished watching the keynote that I did not like as much, which is they're also selling the S22 for $699, and I don't think that that's a good deal. I don't think you should buy the S22 right now for $699, considering there's other phones in the pipeline for that price. You can get a Pixel 7 today for $599. I don't think that that's the phone you should get for that money.
I don't know, I can't confirm this because I don't have it, but I guarantee you the S22 has been sold for cheaper than $699 at some point in the last year.
Oh, yeah.
Samsung does some crazy deals.
Yeah.
It definitely has been cheaper than
Prime
that.
Day, Black Friday.
I'm
it goes on sale all the time.
Sure, or a 2-for-1 deal or something like that.
It's on Amazon right now for $439.
Is it refurbished? Wait, is that refurbished?
Refurbished.
Oh, that's
Okay.
refurbished.
If you want to get a brand new one, it'll still be expensive, but
I know. I bet you could buy brand new ones for cheaper than that at some point. Probably
At a carrier
directly
store or
from
something.
Samsung.
Yeah. I'd rather get an S21 Ultra than an S22 right now.
I think the S21 Ultra is one of the best holding up phones. I mean, we could talk about software updates and how long that's going to get software updates. These are going to get 5 years of security updates, 4 years of One UI software updates. So if you do get an older phone now, you'll sacrifice some of that. But aside from that, great cameras, great screen, great battery. That phone's really good. So, it's a minor update across the board. This is kind of what we were expecting with Samsung. My title for the impressions video was Cruise Control. Because, I really like Dave 2D's video on this. He did a 3-minute video on it, but he did bring up, you played Valorant, right?
Yes.
Something I didn't know about Valorant was when you play a bunch of rounds in a row with a team or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong in any of this.
I haven't heard this analogy, so I'm very excited.
Well, you play a bunch of different rounds. You might take one round and play it as an eco round, where you're just going to play and try to spend as little as possible and just get through it so that you can make bigger upgrades to your arsenal or whatever you're fighting with the next time around. And I've always thought this about video games. Like, I've never articulated this thought, but I feel like there's two types of video game players. Like in 2K, if you're playing My Career, you can buy new VC and improve your player every once in a while.
Okay.
And the two types of players are player one, upgrades as much as he possibly can every time, which is just a small bump every time. Or player two, which is me, which is play as long as you possibly can with your current player until it's basically unplayable, and then use all of your money on all of your upgrades, and you're a god.
Also me.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
That's the move, right?
I think I need to. I hate to go on a gaming rant here,
Okay.
but I need to like change that analogy a little bit. The way you're doing it feels closer to like an MMO where you're just like, I'm not going to use my skill points until I can't kill a creature anymore.
Exactly.
Valorant is like super round based, so essentially whether you win or lose a round, you get money, and that round, if you died, you start off with like no guns essentially. So every round you have to buy guns and armor, and it's like it's first to win 13 rounds, and this is Counter-Strike as well. They're all like economy-based games.
Right.
Where so like if you lose a round, it's better to just be like, this next round is going to be a wash.
Yeah.
It's better for me to be
Not
able to
spend.
actually have my guns the next round, and then you either don't spend anything or you spend to a point where you know you can buy the next round.
Right.
So it's like,
I like both
it's a
analogies.
little different.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess my connection back to smartphones is I think this is Samsung going, we want to spend as little as possible on R&D this time, and then maybe the bigger upgrade is next time. So like the bare minimum they could do is just throw the new chip in there and literally ship the same phone with the new chip, right? So they did a couple extra things, new camera sensors, some tweaking. They still have all those people on hire. They're working on the cameras. It's a little better this year, but like this isn't a big change. We're working on some other changes. That'll come later. So here we are.
They did it. They won last round.
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah,
And now
they won Best Big
they're
Phone.
just going to use the same guns going into this round, and then maybe buy an op next round.
So that's
You
exactly
understand
how it
that.
flows.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is. Works for me.
Gaming.
Sorry.
That might just be the review.
What's up, gamers?
Honestly, now that we're talking about this, I kind of feel like I need to jack Dave's thing and
You
talk
gotta play
about
some
video
Valorant.
games.
You
I need
gotta
to talk
play
about video
some
games.
Valorant.
Well, I mean, it applies to 2K pretty heavily, or like any game with skill upgrades that you can just go
Fair.
as long as you can without upgrading your skill. So shout out to Dave 2D. Dave, when you see my video that has video game talks in it, you'll know that I was inspired by you.
I want to play Valorant with Dave now.
That's probably the move. It's probably really fun. That seems like about it for Samsung. Oh, one more thing. This might not even be new. I got to check the old phone. 8K video at 30 FPS, not just 24. I think that might have been in last year's phone too, but I'm just happy it's
think
not
they
just
had that.
24.
I want to say, isn't 4K 60 front-facing camera new this year?
Yeah, you got new sensors across the board. They were doing this crazy binning of like a 40 megapixel selfie camera on the Ultra. Now it's just like a 12 megapixel front camera across the board, but it will do 4K 60. It is a 12 megapixel, so it can support that, which is cool. I mean, I think the cameras are the thing that I need to test to find out the most about whether or not that upgrade is meaningful, because you got to really put it in a bunch of different scenarios. But like, I expect Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 to be really good because I've used other phones with Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and they're really good. So here we are, new year Samsung stuff, S23.
I do want to say I think that a $200 leap from the regular one to the bigger one is kind of a lot. And I know they've always done that, and it's pretty much always been a $200 leap, but it seems like a lot. Like just to get a bigger screen and a slightly larger battery,
That's what you get.
like $200 is
You also
a
get
pretty significant chunk of.
Higher base storage. Which
Yeah,
is
true. That's a good
kind
point.
of
That's a good point.
for some people. I did a poll on Twitter of like, this is what I was thinking about. What's their minimum base storage for a phone? Just buying a new phone today. And about half the people said 128. And there was a drop off after that. But yeah, you do get 128 on the S23.
Yeah.
But you get 256
Yeah,
base
okay.
on the S23 Plus.
So that's really not that much then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for people who want that, that's available. I will be testing these phones. We'll be reviewing these phones. Stay tuned for the reviews. They'll be coming out. at
Also,
some point.
the Ultra is even more boxy than last year, right?
Very boxy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a Note.
I really like it.
It kind of just looks like the Note.
That's what I've always wanted. Yeah, that's exactly what I've been hoping for.
Yeah.
I love the Note. It's the Note without the word Note in the
Yeah,
name.
just the Note.
It's great.
It's just kind of funny to me because the Note had such a intensely loyal fan following, and then they just kind of got rid of it, and now they made the Note again, but it even has the S Pen. You know, it's like,
Was the Note slightly more expensive even?
yeah, I think it was like $12.99 or something.
So they kind of shoehorned it into the S lineup so more people are able to try it.
Maybe they just had too many devices because they've got the A line, they've got the.
When has that ever stopped Samsung though?
Yeah,
They started messing up the Note though. Remember they were adding like different versions of the Note that then got like
the
it used to
cheap
always
notes,
be
yeah.
like the flagship versions, but then the Note
Yeah.
20 had
The
that
Note
like
20,
weird
like the
one.
plastic
the
one.
Note 20. Yeah, the plastic one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which yeah, that was also a shame. But there's one more thing from the Unpacked event that I liked. That's really boring, but I actually thought was a really good idea. The maintenance mode. Do you remember what that was from the
That little section. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty much
Explain.
like you can turn your phone into maintenance mode when you're going to be giving your phone to like a carrier or somebody working on it to try and fix something for you, and it essentially locks all your personal stuff like photos, contacts, text messages. So I mean, we've heard these horror stories of putting your phone in to get fixed and then people are like distributing pictures or looking through your photo albums or stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like this one little step of security that you add a pin to, and now all of your stuff is safe and somebody can fix it without being a creep, which
Yeah.
is nice to know.
As someone that worked Best Buy Mobile for many years, that
looked
is
at
a
people's stuff?
genius idea. It just like people will give you their stuff and like be like, oh, there's something wrong with my gallery app. Look, and just show you all their pictures. And like I've seen some stuff, and it's like I didn't need to see.
That sounds
any
like
of
their
this.
fault. This is more
No,
to
yeah,
stop
it's
the.
like, but I'm
True.
appreciative of that
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the employee. Like I don't want to see that either.
Yeah.
Please do not let me see that. Yeah. Yeah. In the app, they were like, or in the presentation, they were like, you can hide sensitive apps, like banking apps. And I was like, we know what you mean. You can just say it. So yeah, it'll
I
show up as
only
like a
bank.
fresh phone with no apps, basically, which is good.
Well, and just the apps that are like
Or whatever apps you
default on the
choose.
phone, like settings and stuff like that.
I
So
mean,
that
even if you're just like letting a stranger borrow your phone to like make a phone call or something, I feel like that's a good
there
idea.
are honestly points in this like in our environment right here where we're probably shooting the phone where if you're testing the S23, maybe you should probably put it in maintenance mode just so like all of your text messages aren't coming in, but you're also
Yeah.
mostly the one shooting stuff. But
Yeah. Let's go airplane mode.
everyone make one beat. Everyone do one beat.
Wait, I need the mic to
Yeah,
rap.
no, I'm just gonna.
Wait, slow it down just a little bit. Give me a fighting chance here.
Okay.
All right.
Wub. 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 Wub.
Yo, I'm Ellis, and this was the
Wub.
pod.
Wub.
You didn't watch
Wub.
it live.
Wub.
It's now a
Wub.
VOD.
Wub.
You gotta make
Wub.
sure you
Wub.
like and subscribe.
Wub.
Man, this show is such a vibe. I said Adam.
Wub. Wub. Wub.
I said Adam.
Wub. Wub.
Like and subscribe. Thanks
Wub.
for watching.
Wub. Wub.
That's actually kind of sick.
I say we put it on iTunes.